Alright guys, so I've been meaning to do this list for a while, but I decided, you know what, fine, better late than never. And this is going to be a 4-part series talking about my top 10, excuse me, not top 10, my top 20 favorite kaiju. Now, there are going to be some rules here before we go any further. Number one, Godzilla is not on this list. Not because I don't like Godzilla, it'd just be too easy to have him as number one. And some of you guys might already know my number one, but yeah, Godzilla, he would already be number one so I had to be like, okay, Godzilla cannot be on this list because it's just that'd be too easy. So there are going to be Godzilla monsters here. There are going to be monsters from Toho, but Godzilla will not be on here because he'd automatically be number one. So there is that. Now, other thing, this is just my personal opinion. This is just my favorite. If you think a monster should be higher or lower on the list, that's totally fine. No ill will against you. This is just my personal. These are just my personal 20 favorite giant monsters. Also, you're going to see not just Toho monsters, but also monsters from Gamera, Ultraman, even some Harryhausen monsters, and maybe some Monsterverse. So with all that said, let's dive into part one, which is starting off at number one, the Cyclops from the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. Yeah, we're kicking things off with this list in a big way, because we're kicking things off with a Ray Harryhausen monster. Now, I've never talked about this, but I love the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. It's one of my favorite movies. Like, no lie, it's one of my all-time. The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad I saw as a kid, and it just, like, kicked open the door for every amount of imagination. And admittedly, there were a ton of monsters I thought about picking from that movie, because there's a ton you could use. But the reason I picked the Cyclops is because the Cyclops had the most striking appearance. When you think, if you've ever seen that movie and someone asks, okay, Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, the Cyclops is the first thing that pops into your head. Give it to Harryhausen to create such a fantastic monster that is still being, like, that design is still used today. So that satyr kind of look with the one horn. And again, Harryhausen monsters are some of the most emotive, and the Cyclops, again, prove that. So, yeah, we're kicking things off big with the Cyclops. Now, moving on to number 19, which is an anime. Yeah, we're doing an anime character, and that is the Colossal Titan. Now, I'm going to be real with you. I honestly thought I knew there was going to be a Titan on here from Attack on Titan. I was well aware that I was going to have a Titan in here in some capacity. But I didn't know who, and I actually was considering the Beast Titan, but the reason I picked the Colossal Titan, in the end, I was like, you know what, I like the Colossal Titan a little more, because of just how striking it is, and just how physically imposing the Colossal Titan was as a character. When you thought of Attack on Titan, chances were one of the first Titans that came to your mind was the Colossal. It's just this big, hulking giant that is just kicks off everything by just smashing the wall, and it's just a brilliant, like, it's just a simple but brilliant design. It's this skinless body that looks like it belongs on a cover for a Tool album. And it's the most terrifying thing you'll ever see. One of the most terrifying things you'll ever see. So, yeah, the Colossal Titan at number 19. So let's move on now to number 18. And number 18 is actually a recent monster that has shown up, or should I say monsters? The Skullcrawlers from the Monsterverse. So you may be thinking, really, the Skullcrawlers? Why are they above the Colossal Titan and the Cyclops? I'll tell you why. They're terrifying. Like, literally, they are, like, if a nightmare farted just a little too aggressively, that would be the Skullcrawlers. They're these bipedal snakes with tongues that grab people and you are eaten alive. Like, you're still screaming in its stomach and then it throws you back up. That's horrifying. And there's not just one of them. There is a multitude of them, and they're fast, they're durable, and they just look horrifying. Like, they just look like straight death is coming at you. Kind of like another character that's going to be on this list. Kind of like another set of monsters that are going to be on this list. But the skull crawlers were such a fascinating opponent for Kong because it wasn't just one; it was a multitude of them. And let's be real, that final battle with between Kong and Ramarok, apparently that's the big skull crawler's name was Ramarok. But yeah, having that fight, you cannot deny, is probably one of, if not, it's one of the best monster fights out there between Kong and Ramarok. Is that final fight between those two in Skull Island was one of the best monster fights I've ever seen. So yeah, I can't deny that. And the skull crawlers themselves just definitely leave a mark as like this just predator that you're glad that Kong's around killing. Anyway, so there you go, the skull crawlers. So let's move on to number 17. And number 17 is Gomura from Ultraman. Yeah, classic Ultraman character was going to be here. Gomura is so fun to see because he's just this big hulking just bully. He's just here to just come beat you up and call it a day. Gomura is just fun to look at. He has such a simplistic design, but there's kind of like a funness. There's like a fun look to his just kind of like simplistic design, and I really enjoy that about him. That here's this big doofy monster coming to beat the crap out of you, and he's got a total dad bod, and he's one of the, when I started watching Ultraman, he was one of the first monsters I had seen, and it made me go, you know what? I want to watch more of Ultraman. I really want to check out more of Ultraman because of monsters like Gomura. Anyway, so Gomura was a lot of fun. I do admit that they do kind of use him a lot, but he's one of those monsters, along with the next monster on the list, that basically gets a lot of attention more than making new monsters. But you can't deny he's just fun to see. Whenever he comes stomping onto the scene, you're like, hey, it's Gomura! Anyway, so there you go, guys. And let's stay with Ultraman with our where am I? I have the list right here. I wrote it down because I knew I'd forget. At number 16, we have Ella King. Ella King is another one of those classic Ultraman villains, Ultraman monsters that are a lot of fun. I love electric-type monsters, and Ella King is like this fun, amphibious, eel-like creature who's also gotten a lot of big praise for being one of those classic Ultraman villains that's all you always get excited to see. Although, granted, they do kind of use him a lot. But like Gomura, Ella King was even a good guy in Ultraman Galaxy, and it was kind of fun to see him there. And in Ultraman X, he got the cool like eel form, which I thought was pretty fun. Ella King is just fun in that he has this kooky design, this very long tail he doesn't know what to do with, antennae that move around, and it's just fun to see Ultraman try to fight an electric opponent. Yeah, it comes down to, isn't he just cool to look at? Again, it's one of those classic Subaraya forms that you're just like, there's Ella King! So there you go. There you go. I know this was a pretty quick video, but there wasn't really a lot to talk about with the others other than, hey, these are the really cool ones. I really enjoy these. So this is just part 1. I'll have part 2 out soon. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of the list so far? Do you guys like it, hate it? Comment below, let me know. And once again, I have to say, this is just my list. This is just my personal opinion. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to finally do this list because it's been something on my mind. But the problem was man, there's so many monsters, so it took me so long to really nail down of how many I really enjoyed. So yeah. Anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this? And I will see you next time. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.